We are less than a week away from the 2023 NFL Draft. I am Will Scott. Welcome into Texans Today. Certainly have a lot to discuss when it comes to Texans draft rumors, which is exactly why you should subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to have you covered with Texans draft content here for the next week. And then, of course, even after the draft, we're going to be breaking down the picks, kind of reacting to the draft. So you want to be in the loop when it comes to all things Houston Texans. Hit that subscribe button below. And I think the big question that the Texans front office is asking now, less than a week before draft day, is what to do at number 2. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation about what the Texans are going to do with the number 2 overall pick. Diana Rossini tweeting this out. The NFL draft drama next week starts with Houston. Many teams are asking around right now, trying to find out what the Texans are going to do. If they don't go QB and Arizona trades out, there's a team that can get the second best QB in this draft. The Texans are controlling so many boards. And yeah, the Texans don't have the number 1 overall pick, but everybody knows that Bryce Young is going to be a Panther. So right now, the Texans are controlling the NFL draft at number 2 overall, and it's the biggest kept secret. Well, I don't really think it's a secret. I don't know what they're going to do. Nobody knows what they're going to do. I don't even think the Texans know what they're going to do at number 2. So nobody knows what's going to happen. And because of that, right now, Houston is controlling a lot of draft boards, like Diana Rossini said. What will the Texans do at number 2? Let me know down in the comment section. Are they going to trade down? Are they going to take Will Levis? Are they going to take C.J. Stroud? I have no idea what the Texans are going to do. I know what they should do, and that is draft C.J. Stroud. But there's a lot of question marks right now surrounding C.J. Stroud. Apparently, the Texans are not sold on him. Not sure why. But all this Stroud hate is kind of coming out of nowhere, and a lot of Stroud criticism. Brady Quinn, former NFL quarterback, now he's a contributor to NBC Sports, says that Stroud ghosted the Manning Academy, and that was not a great look. And since Quinn has been criticized, and there's been some conflicting reports on if Stroud was even committed to the Manning Academy to begin with. And then we learned this morning, that his S2 cognition score came in at 18% percentile, which is not good. Now, what is the S2 cognition score? Because I had asked that question this morning. Here is what's on their website. The S2 eval is the only sports evaluation that scientifically measures an athlete's game speed, cognitive abilities, down to a millisecond level and provides tailored on-field drills designated by top-level coaches to measurably improve performance. Now, let's see how these quarterbacks did on these S2 scores. Bryce Young ranked in the 98th percentile. And this is not percent number of questions they got right or anything. This is strictly percentile. Jay Canner, Will Levis, Jaron Hall, those were the other quarterbacks that ranked in the 90th plus percentile. Last year, you saw Brock Purdy rank in the 90th plus percentile as well. He turned out pretty good in his rookie year. Clayton Tune, the Houston Cougars quarterback, 84%. Anthony Richardson from Florida, 79th percentile. Hendon Hooker, 46th percentile. And then this was trending. C.J. Stroud, the 18th percentile. That's not very good. Matt Burrows, I should say, of The Athletic said this about the S2 test. In one section of the exam, a series of diamonds flash on the screen for 16 milliseconds each. Each diamond is missing a point, and the test taker must determine, using left, right, up, or down keys, which part is missing. In another, the test seeks to find out how many objects an athlete can keep track of at the same time. In another, there are 22 figures on the screen. The athlete must locate a specific one as quickly as possible. I'm guessing 22 because that's the number of football players on the field at a given time. The object might be a red triangle embedded in other shapes that are also red. Okay, cool. I don't really care as much about the S2 test. I care about the tape. And when you watch the tape on C.J. Stroud, this is clearly a top 2 quarterback in this draft class. Over 3,600 yards this past season at Ohio State. 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 66.3% completion percentage. And yeah, you can look at those numbers and say, oh, he had a lot of talent. I understand that, but C.J. Stroud, when you watch him on tape, is an unbelievable quarterback. The accuracy, the pocket awareness, the passing ability that he has, the arm strength. He is, in my opinion at least, a top 2 quarterback in this class right next to Bryce Young. And where's all this Stroud hate coming from all of a sudden? Before this week, we really didn't hear much criticism about C.J. Stroud, but now we're hearing, oh, he's not coachable. Oh, his S2 score wasn't good. Oh, he ghosted the Manning Academy. Oh, this and that. Something's fishy here when you're talking about all this hate coming out about C.J. Stroud less than a week before the draft. It kind of sounds like to me that some team is leaking false info trying to get C.J. Stroud to fall to them. And for the Houston Texans to get scared to take C.J. Stroud and for them to pass on Stroud, maybe other teams to pass on Stroud as well. Could that team be the Tennessee Titans? Could that team be the Indianapolis Colts? But something is fishy. Something is very fishy here about a team maybe trying to leak some false info on C.J. Stroud, trying to get him to fall. Because before this week, all we heard about C.J. Stroud on and off the field, very positive. Really no red flags. Why is this all coming out right now? Something's up. Should the Texans draft C.J. Stroud? I'm going to say yes, but what do you say? Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comment section. Go down and let me know what you think. We're going to have you covered here on Chat Sports with our NFL draft coverage next week. It begins Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have a 2-hour pregame before we get into the NFL draft. I will be hosting that coverage, so be sure to tune in. And then when the Texans make their picks at number 2 and number 12, going to get you guys videos here on the channel. So tune in for that coverage as well as our coverage here on Texans Today. But subscribe to our main channel for their coverage, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We'll see you there. Now, could the Texans trade back from number 2? That is another rumor that we are hearing a lot about. And Peter Schrager of Good Morning Football, he put out his latest mock draft, and he does, in fact, have the Texans trading down from number 2 overall. With who, you might ask? The division rival Colts. The Colts trading up in Schrager's mock draft to select C.J. Stroud. The Texans, meanwhile, they take Tyree Wilson at number 4 overall. I love Peter Schrager. He's actually one of my favorite analysts. But this is not happening. The Texans might trade down. They're not trading down with the Colts and letting their division rival snag their franchise quarterback. Maybe the Raiders, maybe another team that they might trade with, but it's not going to be the Indianapolis Colts. I can just about promise you that. That'd be a nightmare scenario if you're a Texans fan. If the Colts trade up for Stroud and Stroud ends up being really good in Indianapolis, could be your worst nightmare for years to come. Let's fast forward now to the Texans pick at number 12, according to Schrager. Hendon Hooker actually goes to Tennessee in front of Will Levis. So you got Bijan to Philly at number 10. Hendon Hooker to the Tennessee Titans, number 11. So another division rival there. And then Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback, number 12 overall to Houston. I'm not thrilled about the idea of taking Will Levis at number 2. I'm fine with taking him at number 12. I really am. Because he does have the tools to be a good NFL quarterback. Is he a risky pick? Yes, he's less risky at number 12. Taking a look at the numbers from this past season in Kentucky. And I remember really being a huge fan of Will Levis coming into this year and really excited to watch him at Kentucky. Now, his offensive line was not great, but he didn't win enough football games at Kentucky. And what I mean by that is you want to see a quarterback take over a game, kind of will their team to victory down the stretch. I did not see enough of that this season at Kentucky from Will Levis. I did not see the it factor. That's not to say, though, that he doesn't have the tools to be a really good NFL quarterback. Kind of reminds me of Josh Allen a little bit. Now, rate Will Levis as a QB. Scale it 1 to 10 down in the comment section. I mean, he's like a 6 or 7 for me right now. I mean, he's not my favorite prospect, but again, if he were to fall to 12 and the Texans maybe trade down, don't take a QB early on in the first round, maybe take Will Anderson at 2, then I'm fine with the pick if he's the number 12 overall selection. He did meet with the Texans. Here are the quarterbacks that met with the Texans ahead of the NFL draft. Bryce Young, even though that doesn't really look realistic at this point. C.J. Stroud did meet with Houston. Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and Hendon Hooker. Now, I'm only sold on 2 of them. Bryce Young and Stroud, those are my guys. in terms of QB3 for me in this draft, it might be Hendon Hooker. But, of course, in Schrager's mock draft, he has Hooker going number 11 overall to the Titans. I think that might be a little bit of a reach given what we're hearing about Hooker. But all 5 of these quarterbacks definitely have potential. But when you're talking about drafting Will Levis and Richardson, the risk factor appears to be a little bit higher with them. I think C.J. Stroud would be a much safer pick. Please don't overthink this, Nick Caserio. Just take C.J. Stroud number 2. Catch my Houston Texans mock draft later on this weekend. See if I took C.J. Stroud number 2 overall by subscribing to the channel, youtube.com/TexansTV.